There was a village tucked deep into the hills of Enugu, a place so green and quiet that the sun seemed to linger a little longer over the rooftops. The people there lived simple lives, tending their farms, raising goats, and gathering at the market on Fridays. But the village had one problem. Food was never enough. The harvests were small, the rains unpredictable, and every family had to scratch and fight just to fill their plates. Then, one evening, when the sky had turned the color of burnt yam, something strange happened. A sound came from the forest, clanging pots, bubbling water, laughter that wasn't human. Curious, the villagers gathered at the edge of the trees. No one could see anything through the thick mist, but the smell, it was irresistible. It smelled like roasted plantains, pepper soup, and jollof rice all at once. That night, when the villagers returned to their homes, they found something unbelievable. At the center of the village, right where the old well stood, a huge feast had appeared. There were pots and bowls of every kind of food you can imagine, and the aroma made every stomach rumble. No one had cooked it, and yet there it was, steaming and ready to eat. At first, some of the elders were suspicious. "This is not ordinary," Chief Obi said, rubbing his chin. "Perhaps it is witchcraft. Perhaps the spirits are angry." But hunger was a louder voice than fear, and soon the villagers were eating. And the food was unlike anything they had tasted. Rich, filling, and made with care. From that night onward, the phenomenon repeated. Every evening, when the last bell of the village school rang, a feast would appear at the center square. No one knew who cooked it. Some whispered that it was the ancestors, returning to bless the village. Others said it was ghosts, mischievous spirits who had grown fond of the living. Children were the first to see them. On one quiet night, little Ada and Chike had stayed behind, hiding behind a cassava hut. They saw faint glowing figures moving among the pots. They were tall and thin, their faces half hidden by mist, their hands stirring big wooden spoons with skill and gentleness. The ghosts didn't notice the children. They hummed as they cooked, laughing softly when a pot tipped too far, carefully pouring the soup back. Ada and Chike ran to tell the elders. Most didn't believe them, but a few who had also glimpsed the lights nodded quietly. "The ghosts," they whispered. "They are kind. They only want to help." The villagers began to change. No one went hungry anymore. The children had energy to study, the farmers had strength to work, and families had time to sit together and share stories, instead of worrying about the next meal. The village, once grey with hardship, became vibrant. Even travelers passing through spoke of the magical village where food appeared like rain. But the villagers never tried to catch the ghosts. They didn't leave gifts or beg for favors. They simply accepted what was given and lived with gratitude. They respected the unseen cooks, leaving empty bowls in the square for thanks, and making sure the square was always clean and welcoming. One day, long after the children had grown, Chief Obi asked the oldest villagers why the ghosts had come. They said nothing concrete, only that the spirits were drawn to villages where people treated each other well, where respect and kindness outweighed greed and selfishness. The elders said, "They cook for those who deserve it, but never for those who seek to own them. The magic only lasts as long as you live in harmony." Years passed, and the ghosts never returned when the village fell into quarrels or fights. Only when the people remembered to care for one another did the smells return and the pots appear, brimming with meals made by hands unseen, but full of love. The villagers learned a simple truth. Sometimes blessings come from places you cannot see. Sometimes the ones who feed you are not alive, not human, and yet they remind you that care, gratitude, and community are what truly fill the heart and the stomach. And so, generations after, the villagers still tell the story of the ghosts that cooked for them, passing it to children in the quiet of the evening, so that every time someone sees smoke curling from the forest, they pause and wonder if kindness might just stir a pot somewhere for them.